All right, well, I think we're live. I think we are. So, hi viewers, once again, welcome to the fourth edition of the BusyBee Boxing Podcast. Here to bring you boxing news, views, and opinions. Today we've got quite a full house. We've got Ao, Idris, Mike, and myself on the line to discuss topics from the last week and so on and so forth. If you like the channel, even if you don't like the channel, please like and share all the content, and please subscribe to the channel as well, because it can bring some great visibility to us. Topics we're going to cover today are the confirmation of the AJ Parker fight that happened this morning, Amir Khan signing with Matchroom, Ortiz versus Wilder confirmation, Okolie versus Chamberlain, and then we're going to do like a mini review of the year of 2017 of boxing. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Let's put the intros aside now. So first point of call, AJ Parker all signed off today. Obviously it's been on the it's been in the pipeline for some weeks now. We were hoping to get an announcement before Christmas, but obviously we've got one now. Over to you, Idris, firstly on this one. What's your thoughts? I know we've talked about this at length, online and offline, for some time now. But now the fight's all signed, the dust is settled, and obviously Duco Promotions don't have to talk themselves into the fight. What's your thoughts on, the fight now it's been made and how you see things going?
Joshua Parker, yeah?
Yeah, Joshua Parker.
I think it's a very interesting fight. It's a very, very, very good fight. I think for the people who are not in the, let's say, know about boxing and things like that, I think this is going to be a much closer encounter than a lot of people may predict. I think it's a great fight for boxing. I think it's the two world champions going at it. Obviously, Wilder being the third. I think Joshua has the firepower, obviously, naturally to win. I think Parker as well has got some firepower as well. Depending, and I'm putting it down on Joshua's conditioning based on how he looked in the Takam fight. I think if he's in better condition, whereas he doesn't seem to gas out as quick, I think he'll beat Parker. But again, both these guys come forward. They don't really take a step back, and I think it will be a matter of who can establish the jab a lot earlier. And I think that might be slightly in the advantage of AJ. But again, I think Parker is going to be a lot better than people think, and I think it's going to be a very, very good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I can't even lie. And it's on your birthday. I am looking forward to it. About time.
All right. Idris, just one question on what you said, right? And I think you made a good point. And so I listened to Boxing Gossip podcast, which is a pretty good podcast. So shout out to Tom over there. But what I would say is a point he made, and I think it's a really good point, is that he feels that this fight is won and lost on conditioning, because both fighters' conditioning as of late hasn't been great.
Yeah.
Parker looked quite fleshy against Hughie Fury, and I think his mobility was affected. I thought AJ carried unnecessary weight. Not that he was fleshy, but carried unnecessary weight against Takam. And I think if you look at AJ's late, fights of late, even against Klitschko, where, that was a kind of career-defining fight, so far. But if you look at how he's looked recently, to, wind back the clock on how early AJ looked. Early AJ wasn't as polished as AJ of today. However, he seemed to be a lot more explosive. Do you agree with that, the kind of opinion that this fight could be won and lost on what fighter actually comes in more athletic?
Well, that's exactly what I was making a point on. I'm putting it based on AJ's conditioning, because I think he is the superior athlete. Let's not get it twisted. He's the superior athlete, not just from a physical standpoint, but the way he can move if he decided to move. But again, against Takam, someone who isn't exactly moving too much, he looked like he got tired very, very quickly. And I think Joseph Parker, obviously, he's undefeated as well, and he's got a high knockout rate. I don't know how powerful he is, though. Like, really, if he's got that one punch, bang, you're done. I think AJ does have that, and I think it's going to come down to a lot to both their conditionings, but more so AJ. If AJ is in much better, more in the Klitschko condition, where he was able to bounce back after being knocked down, in that type of shape, he'll beat Parker. But it'll be a very, very competitive fight. It'll be a very good fight. Because Joseph Parker's not going to come there scared. He's going to know that I'm a world champion as well. I'm unbeaten. I can bang. So he's not going to come there scared. But I think if and I'm not putting this down to boxing skill either. I don't rate either guy that highly in terms of boxing skill. But in terms of conditioning, obviously it's something we all noticed in their last couple of fights. I think it's very important that they both come in great condition. I think if they do come in great condition, AJ will have the advantage.
Yeah, I get that point. Ayo, are you in agreement with that? What's your thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, fairly in agreement with that, to be quite honest with you. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think it's the right fight for Anthony Joshua, to be honest with you. I think Joshua has it, simply based on the fact that he's going to have home advantage. It's going to be the first time that Parker boxes outside of New Zealand, so he's been taken out of his comfort zone for once. And he's going to be with a level of opposition that he hasn't got anywhere near. If you look at his resume, you've got a guy called King Atupatu on he's actually knocked out. That's on his resume. I think the last fight I watched of his was actually Carlos Takam, and Carlos Takam, as you know, very low, brings it, and he was slipping a lot, and he put on a good defensive masterclass there. He had the fight, but I mean, the thing about this fight is that they're actually both very similar in style. They're both sort of explosive as well. They're both heavy-handed. They both plant their feet and look for that sort of one punch knockout sort of thing. So I don't think style's going to make the fight. I just think it's going to boil down to luck, and I think it's going to boil down to, of course, athleticism, as Idris said. But I have Joshua winning this simply because of home advantage and probably experience and level of opposition that he's faced. Parker goes around, they build him up in New Zealand with this guy with some granite chin and and all of this. But when you're fighting guys like King Atupatu and whoever else you're fighting from Australia and New Zealand, mate, that chin hasn't been tested. And as you know, Joshua, 100% knockout ratio. That is, if he lands, that then we'll see what that chin is made of. So yeah, but I have Joshua winning this fight, to put it in short.
Yeah. So you made the point that Parker hasn't been out of New Zealand. I think the Hu fight, I believe that was in Manchester. Anyone correct me if I'm wrong, but I get your point. Most of his career has been based in New Zealand. One question I would ask, and this is just open to the group: if Parker faced all the opponents that are on AJ's resume, would he be unbeaten?
No.
Who would beat him on there? Klitschko.
I think Klitschko would beat Parker. I think if the Klitschko turned up that fought AJ, I think that Klitschko would beat Parker.
Yeah. Is there anyone else on the resume that you'd say would beat Parker?
I think Tyson Fury would beat Parker.
He hasn't faced Tyson Fury though.
Yeah, on AJ's resume.
Sorry.
So Molina, Charles Martin,
no,
Dylan White. Do you think Dylan White beat Parker?
I think Dylan White would give him trouble.
Brazil might have given Parker a bit of trouble, but
yeah, true. Dominic Brazil as well.
Dominic Brazil was pretty a big lad, and he had a bit of power. Obviously, not enough power to hurt AJ, but technically, he was not bad. His defense was all right, but AJ just wore him down and just picked his punches and started him out of the ring, basically.
Mike, but, how you calling this fight?
To be honest with you, I think AJ will be in a much better condition than the Takam fight. I think, judging by his previous fight with obviously Klitschko, I think he won that fight between rounds 6 and 9 when he got his second win. He just backed off and basically just prepared himself for one final push. I don't see Parker giving AJ any problem, to be quite honest with you. I think that AJ is going to like take him out pretty early, send out a statement to Wilder to think like, boy, you're the one I want. If I've got to go through Parker to get to you, then I will go through Parker, make like work of that. I don't see Parker. I mean, yeah, Parker, because people talking about got dynamite in both hands, but I ain't seen no one that Parker's really took to the cleaners. But I just don't see it giving any AJ any problems. I think AJ is going to bide his time like he did against Klitschko, and then when he gets a chance, I think he's just going to unload on Parker. And I think Parker's going to be sparked out pretty early. I don't think it's going to go more than 7 rounds, to be honest with you.
The only reason why I disagree with your comment in terms of you thinking that I do agree that Joshua will win. I do think he'll win based on conditioning. But the reason why I'm giving Parker more of a chance is because of, not just because he's undefeated, but it's the way he's talked before and after fights, and it's his understanding of where he is as a fighter. You know, there's a lot of fighters. I mean, when you're talking about Dominic Brazil might have given Joshua Parker problems, he might have. But when Dominic Brazil was talking, I was thinking to myself, you're just another, you're another lamb being led to the slaughter. That's how I look at you. As big as you are, Dominic Brazil and all that, he just looked like someone else who was being sent to go and, buff up AJ's resume. And I don't think Parker's like that. I think Parker has an okay resume. It's not great, is it? But he is not coming here to make up numbers. He's coming here to take AJ's title, and I think he's coming here with actual purpose.
And that's a fair point. When you're coming in, as AJ says, when you're coming into a Lions Den in front of like 130,000 or whatever, how much people holds, I think it's about 90. It's going to be full out. Atmosphere is going to be rocking. The atmosphere. I think I just don't see what Parker's going to do to really give AJ any problems. I respect Parker, but at the end of the day, he's got the WBO belt. Not really considered to me. I think that's a paper belt. I don't rate the belt at all. And I know there's been some good people that's held it, but I don't think it's the BO and the Endu belt. He hasn't really fought anyone worthy to be called himself a world champion, but he is a world champion on merit because obviously he's got the belt. But I just think AJ is just on a mission, and he would have learned from the Klitschko fight, and he would have learned from the Takam fight to fight someone that's gone in last minute. And yeah, Takam, I'll take my hat off to Takam to produce that performance at short notice. With AJ, yeah, I think Takam did well, but I just don't see what Parker's going to come with to really. He might cause AJ a few problems, but we've all seen that AJ can take a punch, he can get up, he can refocus, and he can go again. I just think if AJ knocks out Parker, which I think he's gonna, I can see Parker getting up, but as fast as he gets back up, I can see AJ just finishing him quite early.
One thing, can I just butt in here? Like, one thing I do think about Parker that over AJ is that I think his defense is actually better than AJ, because if you look in comparison, they both fought Carlos Takam, and Carlos Takam had more success against AJ than he did against.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
But then you can argue the fact that Parker had more time to prepare for Takam. Joshua didn't. Joshua had how many weeks did Joshua have to prepare for Takam? Never seen the boy fight. So Parker had a lot more time. Parker knew.
I'm sure he still had 3-4 weeks. He had more than 2 weeks. Still 3-4 weeks.
So if it's a big, massive world title fight at 4 weeks' notice, yes, you should be able to at least fight yourself. But you're not going to be. You're still not going to have time to do your proper due diligence on a person for even 4 weeks.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but think of it from the perspective of AJ was already in training camp. He was already in good condition. Okay, opponent has changed. He's got a smaller opponent, someone who's not as heavy, not as heavy-handed as well. All he has to do is he's got a month to prepare for a fighter. I'm sorry, he's not doing anything else. That's his day job, to fight.
Idris, sorry to button. Can I play devil's advocate here? Now, I completely agree with everyone here, right? I think AJ is going to win this, and I actually think he's going to win it pretty comfortably. But what if, for example, AJ comes into the fight, decent condition, puts it on Parker early, knocks him down, Parker gets up, and it's from round 5, a repeat of round 5 of the Klitschko fight. What happens then?
conditioning.
Has Parker got enough? The question I'm putting out there, has Parker got enough? If he was in that position potentially that Klitschko was in, facing, you know, a man in front of him, a gassed Joshua, has Parker got enough about him to get Joshua
Okay,
out?
one question to the group. I haven't seen too many of Parker's fight. Has Parker gone the distance 12 rounds before?
He has, yeah. He's seen the 12 rounds. He can do the 12 rounds. And he doesn't gas like that.
He does. He does,
but not to the extent of AJ, I would say.
But then can you, my perspective is if AJ goes full throttle from say round, I'm probably gonna say AJ is gonna go full throttle from round 4. I can't see Parker taking 6 rounds of punishment from AJ. I can't see it.
Yeah, but Mike, what if AJ? So AJ, we've known, and you look at the Takam fight, you look at the Klitschko fight. He's gassed out and basically taken off 3 or 4 rounds minimum. I mean, in that Klitschko fight, I think after round 5, I would say he took off from round 5 to round 10. He didn't look himself. His legs were wooden. He was.
I think 5 to 9. 5 to 9.
Yeah, 5 to 9. Yeah, 5 to 9. Yeah. And then 10 he looked good, and then 11 was when he blew him out. Right. So, if the point I'm trying to make, if AJ shoots his load, and he's gassed out in front of Parker, do we think that Parker's got enough to get him out of there?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would make the same mistake that Klitschko made. Klitschko had a chance to take him out. He didn't. He didn't. I don't know, maybe it was his brother talking in his ear, or maybe his brother's advice, hey, take your time and all of that. Yeah, but he should have had him out.
Yeah. If Parker gets
the instinct to finish AJ if AJ's there for the taking, which I don't think he will be.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but the question is if he's in that situation. And I think, just put into consideration, he's 26 years old, Parker. So if he is in that situation, I think he'll take AJ out if he gets that opportunity. Again, I don't think he'll get that opportunity. I think AJ will beat him. I think AJ coming proper switched on, physically, mentally prepared for this fight because he knows what's on the line, and he's been. So you see, AJ, he hasn't been trash talking. He says enough what he wants to say in a respectful way, and I think the way he's just got this year planned out in his mind, I just think, like I said, I think he's just going to put a statement out to Parker, say, look, Paul Wilder, I'm coming for you. If I've got to go through Parker, I'm going to make light work of him, and I just don't see it going more than 7 rounds. I think AJ is just going to blow him away. I just don't see Parker coming with anything really. I just don't see it.
There has been some tension between the two. So I've been reading some of the comments when the fight was announced. AJ, for example, said that he's not going to shake his hand after the fight, which I thought, okay, AJ, calm down. Parker was saying that he's going to damage AJ. So there is a bit of needle between the two. And if you look back at AJ's career early on, he was being asked and compared to Joseph Parker because there were 2 prospects coming up. I think Joseph Parker was a decent amateur prospect from what I hear. So I think there was a lot of comparisons made, and a lot of people actually put Parker ahead of AJ. But I think if you look at AJ's development compared to Parker, I feel like Parker's kind of gone stale. Potentially even gone backwards, whereas AJ, I feel like even though he's got his flaws, he's still improved. But yeah, I completely agree with everyone. I don't think it's going to be conclusive. I think Parker does have a chance, but I can't see this going more than 10 rounds. And Ayo, you made a good point earlier. If you're fighting King Apatu, Solomon Mancuso from some tiny island, and that's no disrespect to the people in New Zealand, but some tiny island, and hasn't been exposed to a level of boxing, you can't say you've got a granite chin when you haven't fought anybody at least at world level.
I swear the best person on his record is Huey Fury, isn't it?
Yeah, Huey Fury or Takam, and Takam showed.
Who did he win? Who did he win the WBO belt from?
Andy Ruiz. But Andy Ruiz is a weird one because Andy Ruiz, for people who know, I mean, he's a heavyweight, but he's the size of a middleweight. He's like a fat, chubby Mexican-American kid with fast hands. It's a bit weird. And I believe if you put Andy Ruiz in front of AJ tomorrow, AJ would probably knock him out in one punch. So whilst I think Andy Ruiz is all right, and when he fought Parker, he was unbeaten, would I say he's even world level? Probably not. So
Nah.
yeah, I think Parker's record's slightly padded. But so are we all in agreement that AJ knocks him out? He stops him. Is that agreed?
Yeah, I'm going no more than 7.
I'm going for 9.
9. Ayo, what are you saying?
I'm going for probably same as Idris, about probably around 9 TKO.
Yeah, me too. I agree. 9, 10 TKO. Yeah, I agree. So that's covered AJ Parker. On to what we could effectively call the next semi-final in the heavyweight division. Deontay.
I'll be waiting for this.
Yeah, we've been waiting. So Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. Now,
No, I thought we were going to talk about Groves and.
we will get to that. We will get to that. We will get to that because obviously there's money on the line. I haven't forgotten, guys. Don't think I'm letting you off the hook.
Yeah, no, bro. Remember, I told you could cash out, man. Get me.
No, I don't want to. But let's cover the Wilder Ortiz fight because obviously it's been announced.
I've got code and account number ready, guys.
It's been announced. It's been confirmed. You can effectively call this the second semi-final, right? Because we can kind of work out if whoever wins that fight will face the winner of AJ Parker in the end of 2018. But the fight's been made. It's a weird one, really, and one that I don't understand and I haven't been following because I was under the impression that Ortiz was under a ban. He fought the other day, and now he's got a title shot again. So fuck knows what the WBC are doing or what they're smoking down there. But I mean, guys, now the fight's been made. What do we make of it? I'll throw this over to Ayo first. What are you making of the fight, Ayo?
Ortiz to win.
Jeez, controversial.
Oh.
Ortiz is going to win. I honestly do not rate Wilder technically as a boxer. As an athlete, explosiveness and power, yeah, I rate him. He's got it. But as a boxer, I seriously do not. I was watching his highlights today, and the way he swings and just leaves his jawline in the firing line, it's just disgusting, to be quite honest with you. And I just think you should have stuck to basketball. Honest to God. Like, yeah, you're a world champion and everything, and he's had some, he what he did against an unfit Bermain Stavern was good. It was good on the eye and everything, and he sent out a statement. Honest to God, yeah, this Cuban Ortiz, I don't rate him for what he's done. I don't rate drug. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Still hear you.
Oh, sorry, my screen just went blank. I don't rate using PD, performance enhancing drugs and all of that kind of stuff. But as a boxer, man, Ortiz is sound. He comes from that Cuban stable of well-bred fighters that do everything right. And I honestly believe that, Ortiz will go in here overconfident. He will leave his jawline there and Ortiz will take him out. And let's not forget, Ortiz, yeah, I believe Ortiz has to get the job done early because obviously his age. But let's not forget that Ortiz is still undefeated. He's confident still, and I honestly believe that Wilder loses this fight, and it's going to blow the heavyweight division wide open.
All right, El, can I ask you a question off the back of that, right? And
Of course.
when we had the conversation, I think it was on the second podcast. So this was a couple months back. I also picked Ortiz. I think you picked Ortiz. I can't remember if someone else did.
Uh-huh.
But if Ortiz then beats Wilder, right, and blows the division open, and Uncle Eddie Hearn's sitting there smiling, thinking, "Yeah, we've dodged a bullet here."
Uh-huh.
Would you pick Ortiz if he has a decent performance against Wilder to beat AJ?
I would.
You would? Oh wow!
So
you're still saying, despite the age, you're rating him right at the top of heavyweight?
I'm still saying, despite the age. I mean, the age is just a number. I mean, your conditioning will come in. I mean, at the end of the day, Klitschko had AJ on the rocks and he was 40. Let's not forget that. People say, "No, his age. He had him. If he closed the show, like how he was supposed to have closed the show, we wouldn't be talking about AJ right now. Do you know what I mean? But he didn't, and he let him get off. He let him get off a big one there. I honestly believe that technically, Ortiz is the best boxer in the heavyweight division. Honestly, and that might be controversial. Some people might say I'm chatting shit, but that's just my opinion.
Can I chime in, please? Can I chime in? Um, can I chime in?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. Okay. So I agree with you to a degree in terms of his boxing capability. But I'm going to say that I think Klitschko is a much better boxer than Ortiz as well. So he was able to do what he done against AJ based on the fact he's a much better boxer than AJ. But age caught up to him. That's why he didn't close the show. And he's never been a killer. Klitschko's never been a killer.
Age. Sorry for interrupting you, but Joshua got knocked down in the 5th or 6th round, was it?
Yep.
He weren't gassing then. It wasn't age. It wasn't age at that point.
He just got time. And to be fair, Ayo, sorry to interrupt, Ayo. To be fair, winning up until that point, he got knocked down by AJ. Because I thought he was doing a better work. I thought he was commanding the ring.
Yeah,
he looked like he was on his toes. He was judging range. I thought Klitschko was doing a better work up until then.
Same. But what I wanted to say is with Ortiz and Wilder, and the reason why I made the comment of boxing is that there's two elements to boxing fights. One's the boxing side, where you get your purists in Mayweather and your Lomachenkos or your Rigandus and stuff like that. And then you get your fighters. Someone who's not the best boxer, and I'll put in that an Errol Spence, who's not a boxer, great boxer, but he's a great fighter. And even though we don't like, we look at Wilder, and even to this day, I sometimes say, what is this guy doing in a boxing ring? He should be doing bare knuckle fighting somewhere in like Kimbo Slice was, or he should be in the UFC where he could use all the elbows that he does when he's throwing all those wild haymakers. But the great thing about Wilder, and especially when you watch all of his fights, regardless if he's getting dominated or not, regardless if he's getting outboxed, he's a great fighter. And I would say, out of everyone in the heavyweight division, Wilder is the best fighter. If these guys were all going to fight on the street, I'll put Wilder to knock them all down. That's what I'd say.
It's not fighting his boxing.
Yeah, but listen to what I'm saying.
That's the difference. It's not fighting his boxing.
But listen to what I am saying.
Okay.
The reason why Wilder has got to where he's got to is because he has outfought all his opponents. Yet, how many times has he been outboxed? Let's be honest, guys. Every time we watch him, he's probably been outboxed in 90% of his fights. He's probably been outboxed, but he's just pummeled people because he just steamrolls them. He's not caring about getting hit. He just goes and says, "I'm going to fight you. You have no choice. You're going to fight. You're going to have to swing at me because I'm going to be right in front of you, swinging at you." And that's what Wilder does. He puts you in a position where you almost have to fight. You can't really run around the ring anymore. You've got to fight him. You almost have to square up and fight him. And let me even go another step further about his boxing skill. Yeah, we don't rate him as a boxer, but when he fought Stavern the first time, I think Jason, you said it. That's the best boxing we've ever seen AJ Wilder do, because it's like he knew, okay, this is not a clown. This guy's very good. I have to box. I have to be behind my jab. And he was disciplined for 12 rounds, dominated that fight behind his jab. Now and then when he had his flurries, but he never went too wild. He had more control. And then what happened when he fought him again? He says, forget that. I'm not doing 12 rounds of this. I'm going to swing my hand as many times as possible till this guy gets knocked out. And I think Wilder's a great fighter. Yeah, he's not a great boxer. I'll agree with you on that. But I think he's the best fighter in the division. And that's why he's 39-0. And that's why he's, in my opinion, going to beat Ortiz. And I think he's going to put on a show against Ortiz.
I don't rate Wilder, but I see Wilder beating Ortiz.
Why is that, Mike? Is that because of age?
No, I think that, again, I think Wilder's on a mission as well to unify the division. And I just don't. Ortiz, yeah, I agree with what Ayo's saying about with Ortiz, but I think them two just going to be another slugfest, and I just see Wilder just having too much for him power-wise, maybe TKO 8 or 9 rounds. But I just see there's only one mission for Wilder and there's one mission for AJ. They both want to unify, and I think that's just going to be them just to drive it forward and just get it done. Whoever's in their way, they're just going to bypass them just for the unification fight at the end of the year.
Do you know what? I'm kind of sitting on the fence for this one. A couple months back, I picked Ortiz to win. And then I had to think about it, and I thought, Ortiz's last few performances have been a bit flaky. I think if the Ortiz who turned up against Bryant Jennings, who was, super motivated, in good form, well conditioned, turns up against Wilder, I think he wins the fight. And I agree with AO. He could win pretty comfortably. He could even potentially stop Wilder. Who knows? Because, you know, he can hit hard. But I think if the Ortiz who fought, do you remember that fight against Malik Scott? Oh, Jesus.
Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that.
AO, do you remember that fight? Oh,
I remember that fight. Don't talk about it, bro.
Let's call it the unnamed fight he had in Monaco. But if that Ortiz turns up, who's, you know, not really interested,
he didn't need to train for that fight. If I trained for that fight and the guy came and ran like that, I'd be pissed. So he didn't train for that fight. We can't judge his performance in that fight because that weren't a fight, really. Let's be honest.
Exactly, it was a bit of a weird one. But you know, he had the fight against Dave Allen as well, and he looked a bit. And I thought to myself, you know, is age catching up with old Lewis? Is he regressing? Is he regressing? And obviously then, he had his last performance and he didn't look that good. So I'm a bit on the fence here. If you put a gun to my head today and ask me who would I pick, I would probably slightly side with Wilder now, purely because he's been a more active fighter. But I definitely think it's a 50-50 fight. It's a good matchup. Sorry, Idris, you were picking Wilder. Mike, you're picking Wilder. Ayo, you're picking Ortiz.
I am.
Cool. All right, so that's covered. Swiftly moving on. So, Idris, you were asking for a particular topic. I know you're chomping at the bit.
I don't know when I'm getting my money. I don't know when I'm getting my money. I don't know when
Do you know what I mean? so let's cover this. So,
the day's coming. Remember, I think my girlfriend's listening, so I need to know I'm getting that money, bro.
Okay, just remind me. When is the fight? Is it mid-Feb?
Is it February the 8th? Is it 18th of February or is it the end of February?
Let's just have a look. I'm just going to check now. Hang on. It is February the 17th. Yeah, you're right, Mike. So February the 17th. Now, obviously, for viewers who don't tune in every month when you should do, I've got a bet or a nice little wager with Mike and Idris. So I've picked George Groves to win. They've picked Chris Eubank, their favorite fighter, to win. So we haven't talked about this. Yeah, so we haven't talked about this for some time now, but it's obviously a good conversation to pick up. Now the fight's a month away, less than a month away. So yeah, let's let rip. I mean, guys, we've had Christmas, we've had New Year's. I hope you guys have sobered up now and thought long and hard about your pick before Christmas. Are you still in the camp that is going for Chris Eubank Jr., or have you come to your senses and realized that Groves is going to get your boy out?
Yo, Idris, can I go first on this one?
Yeah, please do, man.
First and foremost, let me just put it out there, Eubank isn't my favourite fighter. But on this occasion, I will say, let me just work this out. It's 3 minutes around, so let me be generous to Groves. 3, 6, 9, 12. I'll probably go more. Eubank will probably be my favourite fighter between about 12 minutes and say 18 minutes because I just don't see Groves lasting very long with Eubank. I'm sorry, that boy's just got. He's got speed, he's got power, and he just wants to become heavyweight champion. Sorry, I beg your pardon, champion. And I just don't see what Groves is going to do. Groves is going to be like some slow machine. It's just going to be like a piranha. It's just going to be all over him. And I think Groves. I'm worried for George Groves. I am worried for George Groves because Eubank's going to be throwing some punches with some bad intentions. It's going to be like a little Mike Tyson, just dynamiting. And I just don't see Groves withstanding the barrage of punches. And let's be honest, George Groves hasn't got the best chin. I mean, look at what Fox did to him in the second fight. Just knocked him out cold. That was one punch. Eubank is throwing multiple punches, quadruple punches at speed and accuracy. And for George Groves, I just hope they've just got a paramedic on standby just to check to make sure. Because when he hits the canvas, I just don't see him getting back up.
Idris, I know you want to let rip.
No, Jason, I want you to go first. I'm going to be patient. Yeah, I'm going to be patient because Mike, I agree with you. Jason, you go first.
Okay. Ayo, I know you're in my camp as well. So Feel free to chime in at any time. But
No,
I can see Idris and Mike. Obviously, Christmas, New Year's hasn't sobered you guys up because you're still Chris Eubank fanboys, which is disappointing, really. Because the way I see this fight, and I've noticed now a lot of the Eubank Jr. fans are starting to think a bit logically about this fight and thinking, all right, we were hyped up when this fight was made because our boy just destroyed the Ildrim, and Groves looked a bit woolly against Cox, but he did get the job done. But now they're starting to think about, wait, hang on. Groves is bigger than our boy. Groves has fought at a higher level than our boy. Groves is a champion coming into the fight. Groves has a legitimate team around him and a legitimate training team around him to prepare him adequately for this fight. What has our boy really got? Fast hands?
Okay. No. But just add one thing as well. He's got a world champion.
Okay.
He's got a world champion dad in his corner.
Oh, yes. Chris Eubank, see that. I'm going to get onto him. In a sec. So what has Chris Eubank got?
Just one thing to elaborate on that. In his heyday, he was a badass motherfucker. Sorry,
he was a good fighter. He was a great fighter. Let's set the record straight on. So what's Chris Eubank, in my opinion, got in his favour? He's got fast hands. Fantastic. Oh. He's got age on his side. Brilliant. He's been in less wars than Groves. Okay, great. What else?
Power in both hands.
No, he's not. He's not got more power than Groves. He hasn't. Come on. Even you guys, you sit there, think long and hard before you say Groves. Groves is the bigger. Okay,
Jay, let me just ask you one question. Yeah. Okay. Hypothetically speaking, would you rather someone knock you out with one punch, or with about 6, 7, 8 with speed? What would you rather have? A one solid punch or just torture?
Yeah, I would say I think punches that you can't see hurt more. And if you've got someone who's throwing out angles, like a Pacquiao,
the frightening thing for Groves is there's some he's going to see and some he's not going to see. So he's fucked either way.
But can I say something, Mike? That's what I'm saying. Ayo, feel free to chime in at any time. But let's just be clear. Let's just be clear. We're talking about this frightening hand speed that Eubank Jr. is supposed to have, which is based on his last 5-6 fights against flat-footed, come-forward fighters with no chins. His compilation of Instagram videos against Billy Joe Saunders, he couldn't get off, mate. He couldn't get off. Billy Joe Saunders made him look like a mug and then gassed, and Eubank Jr. couldn't come back. So when we talk about this is where I see Eubank Jr. I see Eubank Jr. as a fighter coming into world level. But where's his form at world level? The only fight I can take is a Billy Joe Saunders fight, and Billy Joe Saunders schooled him, and that Billy Joe Saunders wasn't even peak Billy Joe. The Billy Joe Saunders who we saw the other day school Lemieux is peak Billy Joe. And if that Billy Joe stepped into the ring with Eubank Jr. tomorrow, he would do the same thing, but worse. So when we talk about, he's got great hand speed, he's got this amazing power, against who?
Can I just chip in?
Yeah, feel free.
Honest to God, I was watching the press conference, yeah. I'll put one question out there. Who is Eubank's trainer?
That Wally. The guy with the bald head who doesn't say anything. Ronnie Davis?
Is that his trainer?
Yeah, the one they use as
okay. So that's his trainer, yeah, and his dad is supposedly his mentor or something. What I got from the press conference, yeah, because I'm not going to repeat what I said last time on the other podcast, but what I got from the press conference, he said clear as crystal, I'm self-trained. I don't need training. I just do my own thing. I'm a beast. I'm this. I'm that. And all the shit he says. Like, I honestly believe, yes, he has attributes that will give George Groves problems. And if there's anything, if the fight goes into the later round, then I'm going to be nervous. I'll be like, you know what, the fight is swinging towards Eubank. I'll say that. But I don't think it's going to go into the later rounds. And the reason why I don't think he's going to go into the later rounds is because I think his preparation is wrong.
I'm agreeing. I'm sorry to butt in, I'm agreeing. Do you know what? I'm talking big now. I'm hyped. That jollof rice has got me hyped now. I think, Idris, I hope you're listening. I'm not going to put the money on the line, but this is how I think the fight's going to go, yeah? I think Eubank Jr. is so gassed up because his team have been telling him, you're amazing. You're a phenom. You're a machine. You've got a sat nav inside you. That he's going to come into the fight thinking, I'm just going to blow George Groves away because I had some really good sparring sessions against him. And I think I'm predicting this now. Come back to me. If you get your money, you can absolutely finish me. I think he's going to walk onto a shot from your boy. I think Shane McGuigan and George Groves are probably thinking, we don't want this fight to go late. Let's get him out early. Let's walk him onto something. Let's set a trap. And you can slate George Groves all you want. He's not the same fight he was against Carl Froch. I admit that. But one thing George Groves is good at is setting traps. And when he sets a trap for your boy, it's night-night. Done.
And boxing IQ as well. George Groves has more boxing IQ than Chris Eubank. If we're talking about punches,
Idris is coming in now. Let's set the stage for Idris.
Can IQ stop punches?
Come again?
Can IQ stop punches?
No, but boxing IQ is important in the boxing match. You need to know how to sort of manage the fight at the end of the day. Listen, at the end of the day, punches can come in punches, but if they're light punches,
if you're looking out for what punch is coming where, you're going to be thinking about boxing IQ. You're just going to be thinking about.
Can I tell you something? Let me tell you something about punches. Paulie Malignaggi was a world champion, and he threw punches, but his punches meant nothing because he couldn't. He do nothing. Eubank does not carry that much power. Yes, he throws a lot of punches, but they're not hurtful punches.
They're not. They're pitty-patty.
The
ones that Kawasaki used to throw.
Guys. Okay, so
it just is time now. It just is time.
So, Ayo, I love you, man, because the first thing you said, you even helped me and Money Mike's argument. If it goes past 6, which I think it will, you're already giving us Eubank's going to be more the favorite. So that's the first thing. So, Ayo, you just stay there, yeah? Relax.
I said, just quote. I said the fight is swinging more to Eubank if it goes into the later round.
Okay, thank you, though. But you can stay there. Thank you. I can tell you guys with actual. I won't give away too many sources. I can tell you now, Eubank has done a lot of work in the Mayweather gym with Senior Mayweather and actual Floyd Mayweather. He's done a lot of work with them and guys in that camp. He's done a lot of stuff in there. When he says he's self-trained, when he says all that stuff, he's saying that as a smokescreen. He's saying that so you guys are almost doubting him and thinking that he's too arrogant, blah, blah. You tell me, Jason, you tell me the honest to God truth and tell the truth now. Does Eubank fight like someone? Does he fight like someone that is arrogant, cocky, and doesn't believe in his opponent? Or does he fight like someone who's extremely hungry? You tell me now.
Arrogant and cocky.
Yeah, I would agree.
Arrogant and cocky, 100%. So
you're telling me
he'll knock nobody down. He'll knock on nobody down, yeah, and then stare at the person or stare into the camera, looking like, my God. Do you know what I mean? He's arrogant, man. He's arrogant.
You didn't hear what I said. You're talking about what he done after he knocks them out, blah blah. When he's throwing all those punches with that ferocity, when he's throwing that many punches. If he was arrogant, if he was cocky, if he was like, this person is dead and I'm too good for them, he'd throw a lot less punches in a round.
With less intention.
Did you watch? Listen. I'm having my time. I was Jason a question as well, but I'm having my time. If you are arrogant, yes, guys, I know you lot have all done sparring on that. If you were fighting something that you thought wasn't that good, you probably throw a couple of combinations, dodge a couple of punches because they can't hit you. You're arrogant. You're better than them. This, that, and the other. But Eubank fights and I'm being honest, and this is one of the reasons why I'm picking him over Groves. He fights with hunger. He fights with ferocity. He does not stop. He's not trying. His arrogance comes in the combinations he throws because he stopped in the first bit
of the Saunders fight.
Listen. I will say his arrogance comes in the combinations he throws because he forgets about defense and he's just trying to throw as many punches as possible and knock that person out. Yeah, that's where his arrogance is. But in terms of his fighting hunger, how aggressive he is, there's not many fighters in the world as aggressive as that. How many fighters do you see as aggressive, full on as Eubank? And Groves' big issue is going to be, if Eubank walks on, he's probably going to catch Eubank. I believe he's going to catch Eubank, but I think Eubank is going to be able to firm. I don't think Groves is going to hit him full on. He's going to firm a couple of his punches, and he is going to absolutely obliterate him.
Idris,
From
can I ask a
round
question?
4 onwards, I think he's going to obliterate Groves.
Idris, can I ask a question now? And this is not a trick question or anything. I just want to ask you an honest question now. Do you think Eubank Jr. has a good chin?
It hasn't been tested enough for us to know if it's a good chin.
Okay.
But what we can say is, if Groves gets clocked, as we all know, he's going down. That's it. It's lights out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I agree with that. One sec, Mike. I just want to ask another question. Yeah. So we all saying that Eubank Jr.'s chin has been untested. Obviously, a lot of people have been saying he's got a good chin, right? Because obviously his dad had a good chin, but we know chins are not handed down in the gene pool. Okay. So the second question I was going to ask, because I had 3 questions. So the second question I was going to ask is, who is the biggest puncher? No, let me rephrase that. Has Eubank Jr. been in with anybody who hits as hard as George Groves?
Nope.
No, he hasn't.
No.
Okay. And a third and final question is, has Eubank Jr. been in the ring with someone who's fought the level of opposition that George Groves has?
Nope.
I'm gonna say that's a trick question. Do you know why?
Nope.
Do you know why I'm gonna say that's a trick question? Because every time Groves has been in that elite company, he's been knocked out. He's lost.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. So I'm not even answer that question. I'm gonna say answer your own damn question. Every time Groves has been with that opponent. Okay. I'm ask you, Jason. Every time Groves has fought that opponent that you are asking that Eubanks fought, has Groves won?
Okay.
Has Groves won? Answer the question. Has Groves won?
Answer the question. I'm
going to answer your question, Jason. I'm going to answer your question. Yeah. After I answer the question I've asked you for you. Every time George Groves has fought an opponent that's world class, George Groves has lost. Eubank has not fought people of the same level George Groves has fought, but it might as well be 0 anyway.
The one time he fought Billy Joe Saunders, he lost, and that was the only person just about on world level at the time that he fought, and he lost. Everyone else. Okay. Let's be fair.
Let's be all fair in that assessment of that fight. Do we agree that Eubank won the second half of that fight? And he basically didn't throw any punches in the first 6 rounds.
Let's not break down the fight in 2 halves. Who won the fight?
All right.
Who won the fight?
All right, Jace. Let me put a question out there. Can you see Groves having the power to hurt or knock out Eubank?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Matt. Thank you for teeing up this question. I'll be waiting for this.
Okay,
honestly,
I've got a second question. Go on.
Honestly, Mike, here, and I know I made that prediction before, and you thought that I was gassing or the jollof rice had, taken me over and that. But I honestly think that Team Groves are sitting there thinking, okay, what's our weaknesses? Our chin's been a bit rocky in the past. Our stamina maybe hasn't been there. Our conditioning, we've been in hard fights. What's our strengths? We've got power. We're good at setting traps. We're good very early in fights. When have we had most of our success? Early in fights. So, if that's the case, Eubank Jr. is a fighter for me who, as Idris said, and this is a quote from Idris, doesn't care when he's throwing combinations.
I didn't say that.
Throwing them with his chin. Okay.
I didn't say that.
No, 1 minute. Michael, can I ask you a question? Michael, can I ask you a question just really quickly before these two tee off?
Okay.
You see that punch that George Groves landed on Frotch in the first fight that put him down in the first or second round?
Yeah.
Do you think that same punch can't knock down Eubank?
It would spin him into midair.
No, wait. Let Michael answer the question. Go on.
Me personally, I don't think Groves is going to get close enough to Eubank to land the opportunity. I just see one-way traffic.
Do you really think so? No, come on, guys. Come on. Okay.
I don't see where Groves is going to win this fight.
Mike, sorry to interrupt. Please, let me just have 30 seconds to answer the original point now. Are you seriously sitting there? Because I think Eubank's fans are buying too much into the marketing machine.
Listen,
Avni Yildirim, one sec, Mike. Avni Yildirim, even though he's an average fighter, a CD level fighter, was hitting Eubank during the early stages of that fight.
How many times did he hit him, Mike? Come on, Jason.
So he didn't. I wouldn't say he hit him regularly, but
He hit him like 3 times. He hit him like 3 times. Watch the fight again. He hit him like 3 times.
Okay, but Idris, the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, come on, Mike, come on, James. Michael, you listening to that? That was his argument. He hit him like, watch the fight again. He hit him like 3 times. And one of them was in the combinations when he got knocked out.
Okay, but he hit him, right?
Okay, one sec. If I can just elaborate on that, yeah. The reason why, I just heard, quote me not, that Idris, did you not say that Eubank's been spending some quality time in the Mayweather gym?
Yeah.
Hold on. Now, quote me again. Is not Mayweather the greatest defensive boxer in history?
Come on. Are you guys being serious? Are you now saying? Are you?
Even a week with Mayweather, the knowledge that man possesses with defensive work, adding to Eubank's offensive work. Oh my days! I even feel worse for George Groves.
Mike, are you now saying that 2 minutes with Floyd, and he's shown you a few watches, is going to have an effect? It's going to have an effect.
Listen, Mayweather is not no average watchmaker. He can buy a watchmaking company. The man built his craft on defensive work. And I'm sorry, but if I spent me personally, if I spent a week with Mayweather, I'm sure I'd walk out of there a week later rethinking, right, I've learned something new.
But Mike,
I'm not even a fighter.
Okay, but Mike, let's be honest here. Like, how many times have we heard that mantra where fighters say, "Oh, I was hanging around with Sugar Ray Leonard. Oh, I was hanging around with Thomas Hearns. Oh, I spent a few minutes with Marvin Hagler." Those fighters are God-gifted and talented. You can spend as much time as you want with them. You can pick up little tips here and there. But if you haven't got the God-gifted ability that those fighters have, don't try and replicate their styles.
Wait, hold on. Wait, first of all, who put that video? Was that you, AO, yeah?
What video?
Huh?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah. Wait, are you trying to take the piss?
I'm not taking the piss. That's what you lot are buying into, isn't it?
No. Hold on. I haven't even seen that. I'm actually quite impressed.
Bunches. That's what you lot are buying into.
Yeah, but listen to this. This is the point I'm trying to make, and I think that this is what me and Mark are really getting onto as well. Is it's not that we think. I don't think Eubank's a better boxer than Groves. I don't think Eubank's the best boxer. But I think again, I'm going to make the argument with the Wilder thing. He's a much better fighter than Groves. But look at what you just sent. This guy has not. His energy is not going to be. Even if he gets knocked down against Groves, he's getting up and he's coming back for you. You know why? Because he's got ridiculous fitness.
That's a static punch machine. Lomachenko did the same thing.
Hold on.
Okay. Also,
all year round. So that means he's got superior condition. Have you seen Groves? Groves always looks out of shape.
Let me tell you something. I'm not actually saying that Groves is better condition than Eubank, which is why I said in the later rounds, yes, I would start to say, yeah, the fight is swinging in, the ball is going into Eubank's court. But it's not gonna go into the later rounds. Technically, Groves is a better boxer. Power-wise, he carries more power. Boxing IQ, he has it more than thing. And he listens as well. He's gonna listen to his team. He's not self-trained. He's not got some dummy of a flipping father wearing that dresses like some twat, talking shit all the time behind him. The best thing that he can do is actually get rid of his father and get a proper world-class trainer, and then he will go to world level.
Well, I'm gonna put in a curveball here and just talk about something that's just off boxing. Do you guys? Do any of you guys watch basketball at all?
Not really. Not a big fan.
Okay. Have you guys heard of the Ball family, Lonzo Ball and LeVar Ball? His dad, that was outspoken. His dad was going, "I'd beat Michael Jordan in a one-on-one." Like his dad has that level. Okay, if you think Chris Eubank is arrogant, LeVar Ball makes Chris Eubank look humble, look like Mother Teresa or the Pope. That's how arrogant this guy is. Now, the point I'm trying to make to you, everyone's saying, "Oh, you're so arrogant. Look at you, you're taking all the shine away from your son." His son's saying, "Yeah, but this is how my dad's always been. This is how I know my dad." His dad said about 5 years ago, "My son will be playing in the NBA. My son will be playing for the Lakers." Look at us down the road now. He's now playing for the Lakers. He's the Lakers starting point guard. They're saying this guy might be making All-Star weekend because his performances have been that good. Forget that the dad is arrogant. It's the dad that's instilled that belief within the son for the son to go out there and do what he needs to do. Now watch this.
Danny Garcia's dad said that. Eddie, what's his name? Guerrero's dad said, "Oh my God, my son is the ghost. He's this, he's that, and that." And look what's happened to them. You can say what you want.
Okay, let's be real. Wait,
there by yourself.
Danny Garcia has lost one fight. Who did he lose to? Who did he lose to?
Off the top of my head, I can't even remember. It was
He lost to Furman. He lost to the number one in the division. Yeah. They were both undefeated in that fight. And that was still a very good fight. It was a close fight still. But with Danny Garcia, I always thought Keith Furman was going to win that fight. But look at what Danny Garcia has done. Always been the underdog. His dad has spoken his world. I'm not saying his dad made him a world champion by speaking it, but his dad was always saying he will be world champion. His dad is much better than everyone thinks. And now Danny Garcia is a household name.
Yeah, but
forget all that.
No, Idris, I'm not actually disagreeing with your point here. But what I'm trying to say is Chris Eubank Sr. chats too much shit. He chats rubbish. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He chats rubbish. If we're talking about dads now, comparing the dads, you can't compare Chris Eubank Jr. to Carlos. What's his face? Garcia Sr. He talks.
You're the one who brought him in. You brought him in. I brought him in. Yeah, but that's why my point is this year is that with Chris Eubank Sr. behind him, mate, you're treading your own downfall. And by coming in with arrogant statements saying that I'm self-trained, I'm a beast, I cannot be trained. What the fuck are you? Who are you? Are you Sugar Robinson? Can I ask you a question? Let's break this down. Let's break this all down. How old is Chris Eubank Jr.?
About 28, is he?
28,
29?
Comment, because I've actually read some of the quotes of when he was saying it, and I've actually watched the quote when he was saying it. He was saying it that when he has a trainer, he doesn't want a trainer who's going to come in to tell him to do this and tell him to do that, because he knows what he needs to do to get himself into his best shape. He said he wants someone to come in and help him improve on the things that he's already doing. Do you understand? He doesn't need
say that. He didn't say that.
Teach an old dog new tricks. What's the point? He's 28 years old.
Yeah, but he's not.
The point he was set. Yeah, but the point he was trying to make with that is that I know what I need to do to be in my best physical shape. I don't need a trainer for that. I don't need someone to come and do that. I've got that unlocked. I can do that. If someone's going to come in, they're going to come in. So that's why he goes to the Mayweathers, because he knows that in terms of conditioning, they don't need to help him in that. They're going to help him with his boxing side of things. Yeah, that's what they're going to help him with. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about I'm the best boxer in the world. I don't need a boxing trainer. But he's talking about an actual trainer who's going to say, "Oh, you do these combinations."
It's arrogance.
I don't need
arrogance.
No, bro.
Let me tell you something, Kid. It's arrogance personified.
I'm an athlete.
When you say Mayweather, who's probably the greatest of his time, he will say, "You always talk about I have a great team behind me."
Bro, you talk about Leonard Ellaby and how all the money he's making. You talk about all the money he's making. Forget that. My
team. No, wait. Calm down. Let me just make my point. Calm down. Everyone always talks about your team. How can you be a guy who fights on ITV pay-per-view? You have not fought anyone on world level bar Billy Joe Saunders, and you're coming out with statements saying that I'm self-trained. I cannot be trained. Bruv, get a grip. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say.
What I wanted to say, me being an athlete myself, I'm 33 years old, yeah, is that I have a coach. The reason why I have my coach isn't someone who's going to get me my best ever shape, blah, 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 because I know what to do to get myself into shape. I just need someone to oversee the training sessions. I just need someone who's going to tell me, "Oh, you were doing this wrong in that particular run," or maybe you should do that instead. Do you know what I mean? Someone who's just going to be there, not someone who's going to change what I'm doing, because I know what I need to do now. I'm 33. There's not much that he's going to tell me in the way of improving myself. The only way he's going to do is aid me so that I can do everything I do well better. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think we've read too much into that comment in "I don't need a trainer." I think it was a comment off the cuff, and if he was to re-say it, he would reword it and say, "This is what I was trying to mean." Because I watched when he said it, and I read the quotes when he said it. He was trying to say that I'm 28 years old. You're not really gonna. If I was 20 years old, I think what he was trying to say was, if I was 20 years old, yes, I'll need a trainer to help me do this, that, and the other. I'm 28 years old. I know what to do. In terms of, I know how to throw a punch. I know the combination. I know my tactics. But I would need, if someone was to come in, I'd need someone who's going to just aid me and steer me in this direction slightly or something like that. Not someone who's going to change my tactics or change my style. That's what he was trying to do.
Can I tell you something? And I'm sorry to go back again to, thing, but you got different tactics for a fight, for whatever fighter. Like, for example, Mayweather, when he fought, let's say, for example, Pacquiao, you know, same sort of running away, slipping, dodging, punch, one, slip, dodge, you know, all that kind of thing. When he fought, what's the guy from UFC, McGregor, he came in with a high guard, marching him down and all of that kind of thing, because that was dependent on the fighter.
No. He had no respect for Conor McGregor. Let's be real. He had no respect.
Let me just finish. He had no respect, but he came in with a different style depending on the fighter. Yeah, I understand. So if you can't take tactical instruction, you think you're too good to take tactical instruction. Say like this trainer or the Ronnie guy, the bald guy next to him, and the thing says, come in with a high guard, and he goes, no, I'm going to do what I usually do. And he loses the fight.
No, what the point is, I was saying,
you know
I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm trying to say is that he doesn't want someone who's going to say, this is what you're going to do in training, and this is how you're going to do in training. Maybe he would take a trainer. Maybe he would take
Idris, let me give you a football analogy, yeah? There's certain types of players, yeah, that transcend tactical instruction. Messi, Ronaldo. You just let them, it's called a free roll. Go out there and do your thing. You cannot give them kind of people on that level tactical instruction, say, no, I want you to drop deep and blah, blah, blah. There's certain boxers out there that transcend tactical instruction. Mayweather was one of them. If you look at his last thing, his father doesn't say anything, say, you got this or whatever. His father doesn't give him any tactical instruction. He just does his own thing. Eubank Jr. is not on the level that transcends tactical instruction. I don't care how old you are. I don't care where you're coming from. I don't care if you're an old dog, you can't take new tricks. You need to be listening. You still need to listen and still need to prepare for a world level fighter, which is George Groves. And I think it's his preparation that's going to let him down.
Guys, can I come in here? So, obviously, everyone knows who I'm picking for this fight. Clearly, obviously, the festive period hasn't sobered up our friends Idris and Mike. So,
you know what?
But what I want to put up the money.
I want the money to go up.
No. That's what, I'm happy with the money now. But what I would say is, I
want to put the money up.
It's a good debate because I think, obviously, both sides are quite passionate. I think both sides have got good arguments. I think it is a close fight. I'm picking Groves though, but for the interest of time, let's move on. We're going to have to revisit that topic on another podcast, probably the next one when I'm collecting my money. Anyway,
listen, no, I'm not letting you get away with that. No, I want to put the money up. You're not listening. It's £50 at the moment. I want to put it up.
It's £50. Let me have a think about it. Let me have a think about it. It depends what I need to buy next month. But yeah, let me have a think about it.
I've got Valentine's Day coming up. Yeah, I don't know about you.
I know
because your girlfriend's probably going to leave you after you lose all that money. So I got Valentine's Day coming up. So you get me. I want to put the money up, bro. You're paying for my. I'm telling you now. You're paying for my Valentine's Day. I'm going to put.
Let me have a think about that one, and I'll get back to you.
I've already put the table, mate. I've already put the table.
In the interest of time, let's move on from the Groves Eubank Jr. debate and come into another British rivalry. A good friend, well, not my friend, but London's best friend, Lawrence Okolie, facing London's other best friend, Isaac Chamberlain. Now, this is obviously the battle of East meets South, Hackney versus, is it Brixton? Where's he from, Chamberlain? Is it Brixton?
Brixton.
He is Brixton, so yeah, Hackney versus Brixton. We all know what that means. But I mean, throwing it out to the group, I don't know who wants to pick this one up first. I've got my thoughts and opinions on this fight. Probably let's go with Mike. Mike, what's your thoughts? I don't know how much you've been following the build up to this fight, but what's your thoughts on the fight and how you're seeing things going?
It's going to be an interesting one. Interesting, two good young fighters, evenly matched. I see a tough fight. I don't see an easy fight. But if I had to put my money on one, I'll probably go with Okolie. Just a fact. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Okolie. I think he's improved, and I think he's got a point to prove as well. But yeah, I don't see a really easy fight. I see this one maybe going the distance actually. So, but yeah, if I had to pick on one, I'll go with Okolie.
So that's one vote for Hackney. All right. Idris, what are you saying about this fight? Are you going with your southern friend, or are you going across the waters to east?
I want to go with my Brixton boy Chamberlain personally. But I think that's more of a personal thing because I'm with Mike in terms. I don't really know who I think will win. I think Chamberlain. I think Chamberlain is maybe he's maybe the slightly better boxer of the two. I think he's going to have a bit more of a calmer temperament going into the fight. I think he's got more. I think Okolie's a bit more rough around the edges, and I think that might be what gives Chamberlain the upper hand. I think he 9-0. I think Okolie's record 7-0. So he's had a couple more fights. He's not a big puncher. He doesn't knock everyone out. He's only had 4 knockouts. So I think he has to box more, and I think that's what will get him the win. But it's a close fight. I mean, I could almost flip a coin and decide who I think is going to win that. But I'm going to go with Chamberlain just because he's from Brixton and he's my South brethren. You get me, lad?
Ayo, you're from East, like I am. What's your thoughts on the fight?
Again, it's a 50-50 fight. I mean, they both fought nobody. I honestly, this fight, when I think about this fight, I think that this fight reminds me so much of James DeGale and George Groves 1. Mm-hmm. I think it's come too early in their careers because I think someone's going to lose, and whoever loses is just going to slow them down, knock their confidence and, put them back a bit, which I don't think is good for British boxing. I think, they should have just went their different paths. They're still they're still relatively early in their career, so they can still get a fight. They can still get away with fighting a few more tomato cans, then move up to British level, European level. And then maybe when there's maybe a minor belt like the European belt on the line, then maybe they could have fought each other then. I don't know why they're fighting each other now. I think it's too early. I don't think it's great. But anyway, it's still going to make a good fight. My heart wants Okolie to win because he's from my ends, and like literally from my ends. Shackwell Road is where we grew up. But I think based on what I saw Okolie in his last fight, I wasn't impressed. Technically, no, I wasn't impressed. And I just feel that again, down to preparation. I don't know, but I know that Chamberlain's gone out to the Ukraine and he's been sparring with Mastinek, Usyk, who's a world-class boxer. Mastinek and Lomachenko actually popped by as well, probably giving him a few pointers as well. So, I think I'm gonna snake my guy and go with Chamberlain. I think Chamberlain's gonna win.
I guess it's my time to pitch in. Where do we start? I mean, so Ayo and myself were at the Brentwood's MTK IFL TV show, and we saw Okolie, right? And he was prancing around like he was the second coming of Mike Tyson. Yeah. And we thought this guy, obviously, someone's been pumping.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So someone's been pumping him up. Obviously, someone at Matchroom, one of the cheerleaders and stuff. But I look at Okolie's career to date, and I see a lot of sloppiness in his game, quite gangly in style. But just like for me who went to the Olympics, he seems quite raw and basic. Like he doesn't seem to have good boxing fundamentals, which is worrying for someone who's just come off the Olympic conveyor belt. And yeah, I mean, some of the fighters, the state of some of the fighters Eddie Hearn served up to him, like seriously, like there's going into the pub and finding someone, and then there's just like, I don't know where Eddie Hearn was getting these guys from, but the state of them is just ridiculous. So yeah, I see a lot of flaws in Okolie's game. I think he's got good power. Obviously, kind of sparring with AJ is good for his development. But I see holes in his game. Whereas Chamberlain he's come through some question marks. That Camacho fight, obviously, there was he was in a difficult situation. I think he hurt his shoulder and stuff. Also, Ayo, you made the point that Chamberlain's out in Ukraine, right? And he's sparring. He's part of the camp, Usyk's camp. Usyk's preparing for his fight against Bradis in the World Boxing Super Series tournament. So he's part of that camp. That's a winning camp. I mean, Usyk for me was away in the world for me already, he's definitely top 20 pound for pound in the world, incredible fighter. And to be part of that camp for Chamberlain, that's ideal prep. I don't know how Okolie's preparing for the fight. I don't know if he's still got access to AJ sparring or whatever, but for me, Chamberlain's gone out there to Ukraine, Mastinek as well, AO, as you mentioned, and he's getting that sparring in. So if I had to pick one, I went with Chamberlain when the fight was first announced, and then, you know, you kind of get bought, you kind of buy into the hype. It's kind of come back towards like a 60-40 fight. I'm still edging towards Chamberlain purely because I think he's had the experience and he's had the good prep. But yeah, it's a close fight.
Another thing I wanted to say as well is that, you know, going out to Ukraine, you must have some balls about you, because that is one of the countries I wouldn't go to, you know, because that is like technically the most racist country in the world, bar none. And to go out there, you know what I mean, you know, he even said, I even read in an article that he doesn't go out to the town centre and all of that kind of stuff, you know, just keeps himself to himself. And that's how you have to do out there. To go out there in the cold weather and, you know, be putting sparring with top quality opponents like that, I think that's ideal preparation. So yeah. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
No, Jason's gonna put himself on mute.
Sorry, I was on mute. I agree, and I think that preparation with being in that USIC camp is gonna get him the victory. I think, and I think he could actually make it quite a comfortable victory. So even though I'm from East, sorry, going with the South a lot for this one. All right, so we've covered that. Let's move on. The next topic wasn't in the agenda, but I thought we'll cover it. Obviously, it came up in the earlier conversation we had. Signs with Matchroom. The sounds of snakes can be heard in and around the Brentwood Matchroom HQ area. Guys, this is just open, so I'm throwing it out to whoever wants to cover it. What do we make of Amir Khan signing with Matchroom? And is it a good move for his career? Is it a good business move from Uncle Eddie? What kind of fights can we see him getting in the next 3 fights? Because obviously he's got a 3-fight deal with Matchroom.
Wow, where do we start on Mr. King Khan? He's gone with his begging bowl to Eddie Hearn, isn't it? But hold on, didn't I hear a quote from Amir Khan saying that he didn't like Eddie Hearn and he'll never sign with Eddie Hearn? But obviously, been in the jungles, obviously something must have fell on his head.
Yeah, there's been lots of that. There was a funny tweet going around, which basically put together like a kind of I don't know what you'd call it. It was like almost like a poster of quotes from Amir Khan and Eddie Hearn, basically slating each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was jokes. But sorry, Mike, go on.
No. I mean, like I said, I watched that from when I see that boy in the Olympics. I thought, yeah, this boy's got potential. Me and my missus went to the XL, see his first fight. He was good, and I thought, you know what, followed Amir Khan's career from day dot. But all I've just seen is a boy who had potential to a joke in the space of 2-3 years. I think he should have shut his mouth and stopped chasing a phantom fight with Mayweather and should have started to organising a fight with Kell Brook, because obviously I think that's going to be a fight that they're going to be both past their prime when they finally get it on, if they do get it on. Amir Khan's gone with his begging bowl back to Eddie Khan. Like I said, he must have fell out of his shamrock in the jungle and some ding dong. I'm thinking, rah, do I want to be for a joke in the jungle, or do I want to be remembered as a world-class fighter? No, Amir, you're neither. You're just a joke. Every time someone remembers something, it's before the Alvarez fight, when someone said to me, Amir Khan, I'd have thought, mine, Olympics, the boy's got potential, he can go far. But then I just keep having flashbacks of him down in the middle of the ring, unconscious. Embarrassing. I mean, I've seen some knockouts in my time. I've followed boxing for a long time. But I have never, ever seen anyone just out cold, just motionless, lifeless. And it was just embarrassing. And if Amir Khan could fight as good as he talks, my man will never have been beaten. He would be holding unified belts. But his mouth just doesn't connect with his brain. What his mouth says he wants to do, I'm sorry, Amir, you're just capable. And then you've got the audacity to call a world heavyweight champion, accusing him of having an affair with your wife. I mean, come on, Amir, come on, please. Stick to what you're you think you're good at, but you're just not good at anymore. And I just don't see anyone out there that's going to be credible enough to fight him, because they're going to think, oh yeah, do you want to fight Amir? No, it's all right. He's not a name no more. He's just going to be like when Mike Tyson was in heavily debt. Every punch he took was just to pay off another debt. All that.
Mike,
yeah.
Mike, sorry to interrupt. Can I ask a question? He's got a 3-fight deal with Matchroom. Obviously, Kell Brook is an obvious one. Clearly, that's why he was signed by Uncle Eddie to make that fight, because that's an in-house fight. Uncle Eddie can promote the hell out of it, match make well, and build that fight, put it in Wembley, and get all the money.
That's true. That's the only fight I see, but I think that's fight now just purely for money reasons. And
it is, yeah. It's not a credible fight in the welterweight division.
To be honest with you, I don't think even Kell Brook would even take the fight. I think there's better out there for Kell Brook. I mean, if Kell Brook takes that fight, that's just purely for money.
I think Kell Brook would take the fight for money. I think that's an easy payday, because I've always maintained that Kell Brook is the favourite in that fight.
But I think they should have got it together 3-4 years ago. It's just like the Padgett waiver fight. It's long overdue, and people just lost interest in it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, I would have actually gone and paid to watch that fight. Now, if it does happen, I'd watch it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. I'll just watch it on the fact that I just want to see Amir Khan just get another ass whooping, just to hopefully someone just retire him, because he's a joke. He's turned himself into a joke. I don't see.
But can I ask a question, Mike?
Yep.
So sorry to interrupt again, Mike. So just say, for example, Amir Khan in his next fight. So he's rumored, I don't know, Granados. So they said that he may potentially fight Granados, which is actually a tricky fight, because I saw Granados against Sean Porter, and Granados also faced Broner, and he looked pretty tricky. He looked quite a handful. He gave Sean Porter problems that time. So he's rumored to face Granados next. Adrian Broner fight has been talked about as well, which I think is actually a good fight for both fighters. If you see Uncle Eddie building it in that way, and also matches Kell Brook well against decent level opposition, can you see the fight being made and having that level of attraction that it would have had 3-4 years ago? I know they're not champions, but can the fight be built up still?
No, I think
by Uncle Eddie.
I think Uncle Eddie's got the best end of the deal here. I think he's just going to use Amir Khan just purely as a free fight, a free money cash cow. Because he doesn't. Me personally, I don't think Eddie Khan likes Amir Khan because of the simple fact that what he said a couple of years ago when he said, "Look, I don't like Eddie Hearn. I'll never fight for Eddie Hearn." So at the end of the day, like I said, Amir Khan's had to go on to Uncle Eddie with his begging bowl and say, "Please, Uncle Eddie, can you feed me for like the next 3 fights, man? I'm a celebrity. I didn't make enough in there. Please, no one's. I don't want people to remember me from I'm a celebrity. If I come with you and like eat a bit of humble pie, can Uncle Eddie sort me on a cash gravy?" And then Uncle Eddie's thinking, yeah, Amir, well, yeah, I don't like you, but yeah, I can make some money off you for the next 3 fights. I'll pimp. He might as well be his pimp. I can pimp you out for 3 fights, make my money. Win if you win them, happy days. If you don't, mate, I ain't gonna work with you again. It's only 3 fights. I can stomach you for 3 fights. And I don't see Broner. I think will beat Khan. Garcia will just destroy Khan. I think Amir Khan's next 3 fights is just going to be, well, if we can get one together, you can have it. If we can't, we'll just pick someone for you. Anyone world class, i.e. Garcia, Broner, I don't think they'll even entertain Khan. I don't think they'll even entertain it. Unless they offer them some stupid amount of money, then yeah. But apart from that, I don't see Khan winning another belt. And if he does, it's going to be against some joker. So I just don't see where Amir Khan can re-erect his career with over the next 3 fights. I just don't see it. He might as well just like hang up his guard and go and live in the jungle.
Idris, my friend, what are you saying about this?
Like Amir Khan?
Yeah, Amir King Khan.
Oh, you lot are still talking about him? Bro, he's a joke. Why do I want to talk about this loser? I hate Amir Khan. Bro, if I saw Amir Khan, if I popped him one, he's knocked out, bro. I don't want to talk about this fool. For me, he is a disgrace to boxing. All he's trying to do is just trying to make money. This is him. He's just trying to make money. He's getting this deal with Eddie Hearn. He's just trying to make money. Anyone he fights is going to beat him up. If he fights Kell Brook is going to beat him up. If he fights Adrian Broner and Adrian Broner decides to prepare properly for that fight, Adrian Broner beats him up. I could care less about Amir Khan, to be honest. It's just, he's unfair.
Just retire.
I hate him. Like, I genuinely don't. I'm not going to say hate, it's too strong. I don't like him. He's rubbish. And for years, he upset me because he was always calling out Mayweather. And in my head, I was thinking to myself, how dare you, man? Like, how dare you?
He didn't deserve that fight.
Yeah, I'm not.
Khan's just like a little mini.
Yeah, he's rubbish,
Just
man.
retire. Just hang up his gloves and retire. Just don't fight anymore.
Rumor has it, guys, that the reason why Amir Khan has finally signed with Matchroom, or part of the reason, is because a lot of people said he ducked the Kell Brook fight, and now Kell Brook's gone up to 154, and the rumors are that Kell Brook can't make 147 anymore. It's the reason why Amir Khan signed, because he knows that he's got a free fight deal. He probably won't have to take the Kell Brook fight because Kell Brook can't make 147. He won't go up to 154, so there'll be no fight. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Amir Khan is one of those fighters you either love him or hate him. Speaking of loving Amir Khan, let's bring in our East End correspondent Ayo, who we know is a massive fan of Amir Khan. Ayo, you must have been sitting there with your ears bleeding listening to all this hate. What are you saying about your boy Amir King Khan?
I honestly think that, I don't know. I honestly don't know what all this hate about Amir Khan stems from. Let me give you some facts. Please do not
Back on the facts.
Yeah, please let me give you some facts. Amir Khan has lost 4 times.
Please.
Wait, man, just let me drop. Let me land, please. 4 times. Breeders' Prescott, Lamont Peterson, Garcia, and Alvarez.
Yeah.
Canelo. All right, wait. We all know what happened with Canelo. I understand, and that would happen with anybody. Let me tell you something about, Michael, you made a point about bad knockouts. Manny the Great Pacquiao was like flat on his face. He fell like a tree. They say the knockout is bad when you fall on your face. Remember how Manny Pacquiao fell when what was his face? The guy fought 5 times. It's gone from my head now. But you know who I'm talking about. Yes. The guy when he knocked him out, that was a bad knockout. All right, let me give you some stats for your answer.
Yeah? Before you come at your stats, can I just answer that question, please? You can't put Amir Khan in the same category as Pacquiao. Pacquiao is a
I didn't. No, Michael, you're getting me twisted. You just said bad knockouts, and I gave an example of a legend, of a World Hall of Famer getting knocked the fuck out badly.
Was Pacquiao still living in? Was Pacquiao still laying in the ring when everyone gone home?
He wasn't even smelling salt.
No. Pacquiao got to his feet and walked out. Listen.
Michael, let's not fudge the point. Amir Khan got knocked badly out by
You call it bad?
He did. He got knocked badly out. He got knocked the fuck out badly. He was lying on his face. His woman was in the crowd, all scared. All saying, "Is he okay? She was going hysterical. He got knocked out. He was bad. Anyway, let me give you some stats. Let me tell you why I like Amir Khan. I honestly believe Amir Khan has been the victim of mismanagement of his career. But you know what? Even though his career has been mismanaged, he's actually fought. He's fought people. He's fought world level opposition and beaten the majority of them. Let me start it because I'm reading from a list. Marco Antonio Barrera, 2009. Kotelnik, 2009. Paulie Malignaggi, as you know, okay, not the best, but obviously he's still a world champion, beat him. Marcos Maidana, beat him. Zab Judah, beat him. Lamont Peterson, he got robbed. Carlos Manina, beat him. Diaz, beat him. Collazo, beat him. Devin Alexander, beat him. Algeria, we don't rate. And it stops there. He's beaten top-level opposition throughout his career. And let's go to Marcos Maidana. Marcos Maidana gave, he was a good fight. Obviously, he's retired now. Mayweather took the fight twice because on the first fight, people were like, "Oh, inconclusive, blah 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 blah." He beat Maidana. And wait, before you jump down my throat, I'm not comparing Amir Khan to Mayweather, so don't latch onto that. But I'm just giving you a fight that Mayweather's fought and Amir Khan has fought. Let me tell you something straight up and down. Amir Khan beats Kell Brook hands down. I heard in rumor that he's beat him in sparring as well. Yeah, people say timing beats speed and all the rest of it. But I honestly believe, based on what they've done in sparring, and if you watch them, that show Ring what's that show that used to come on Sky?
Ringside, the Sky Sports one where they sat next to each other.
If you watch that interview all those years ago, I'm telling you now, there's something that's gone on there that Amir Khan used to boss him and mess him around the ring, 100%. And I could tell. You can tell when someone lies because my mum studied psychology for 5 years. She said you look to the left. You look to the left, and I'm telling you now, yeah, Kell Brook was lying. He knows that Amir Khan used to box him up and down. That's why Amir Khan got picked for the Olympics and Kell Brook didn't. Okay. That's my argument.
Okay, wait. So I'm just using using that just right now, while the iron is still hot. Let me strike. So sparring tapes, yeah. Are we going to use that? Because I remember Eubank and Groves having sparring tapes as well. So I'm just asking, is that on the table? Can I use that as part of my argument? Me and Mike's argument, or am I not allowed to use it because you're just using Amir Khan thing? I'm just asking.
Use whatever you want, my G. Use whatever you want.
Okay, cool.
Use whatever you want to do. Use whatever you want.
Okay. I'm just saying, isn't it? Since you got sparring tapes and Eubank's got sparring tapes, you get me? You made that argument.
All I'm going to tell you is that Amir Khan's lost 4 times. One of them was a robbery against Lamont Peterson. Yes, he got knocked the fuck out by Danny Garcia. I think about half an hour ago, you was defending Danny Garcia against Keith Thurman, Idris, right? Okay.
Yeah, Danny Garcia is better than Amir Khan.
The only bad loss on his record is Breeders Prescott, and that's because he went gung ho and he was still raw then. You know what I mean? Other than that, everyone else he lost against, I honestly, what we all knew was gonna lose against Canelo. I knew that was a money fight for him. He took that because of the money. He knew he was gonna lose. He knew that, if he lose, I was expected to lose. It didn't really derail his career. And let me tell you something: the free fight with Matchroom is a good deal because what he's gonna do, he's gonna fight Broner and beat him. I think he beats Broner. He'll fight, I don't know, someone in between that, and the last fight will probably be Kell Brook.
Okay, so what was I gonna say? You brought up Danny Garcia. I don't know why, but Danny Garcia is better than Amir Khan, so I don't even know why you brought him up. I agree,
but you were defending Amir Khan. You was defending Danny Garcia a few seconds ago, and there's no shame. Is there any shame?
I'm defending a good fighter. Amir Khan is a dickhead.
There's shame in losing to Danny Garcia.
There's no shame in doing that.
Okay,
there's no shame in doing that.
So what's your point?
No, you're bringing up. No,
Danny Garcia.
You said no. Your words were. Your exact words.
He's a world champion. He's a world level fighter. Can happen to anybody.
Hey yo.
The way you look once that Amir Khan 10 times. Bad knockouts.
Yo, your exact words were that I compared Amir Khan to Danny Garcia. Hell no.
No, I didn't. You said you was defending Danny Garcia a few seconds ago against Keith Thurman that he's only lost once. That's what you said, and that was to Keith Thurman. It was a world level and all of that. And I said, yeah, Danny and Amir Khan's lost to Danny Garcia as well badly. Is any shame in that? No, because Danny Garcia is a world class fighter.
Yeah,
he's also lost to Canelo, but Canelo is a world class fighter. He was robbed against Peterson, so I'm not even counting that as a loss. But yeah, it's a loss on his record. And the Breeders' Prescott is the only loss that you lot can say, that you lot can cling to. Other than that, he's beaten Marcos Antonio Barrera, Kotanik, Collazo. How many more do you want me to reel off? And you tell me who Kell Brook has beat. You tell me. Compare their resumes and you tell me who Kell Brook has beat. All right. I'm here in silence.
I personally feel Kell Brook will beat him.
Why?
I just think he's going to beat him. I just think he's going to beat him.
Why? You can't say that. Give me the reasons why.
Because I think he's a better
fighter. I'm telling you, Amir Khan's been with better level of position, and he carries more speed than him. Those are 2
fundamental reasons. Okay, Ayo, let me ask you a question. I'll ask you.
Why will Kell Brook beat
Ayo, let me ask you a question. Do you think Amir Khan would have hurt Golovkin like Kell Brook did?
Come again?
Do you think if Khan ever fought Golovkin, which I don't think he would, do you see Amir Khan doing the same damage that Kell Brook did to him?
I do, because you want to know. You want to know why? Yeah, you want to know why? Because if you look at the Canelo fight before he got knocked the fuck out, which was bad, he was actually winning the fight up to then.
Do you think that Amir Khan would have had a gooder fight against Errol Spence?
He would have given him more problems because he carries more speed,
but no power.
He carries more speed. He's not a moving target. He maybe he carries less power. Yeah, his power is questionable, but he would have given Errol Spence a much harder time. and he's got the experience because he's been in with better opponents. When Kel has come in, besides Sean Porter, Errol Spence he lost to, and Golovkin he lost to. Who else?
He went to Sean Porter's backyard and took it
because he hasn't fought nobody.
I was just saying something about that. When he took the title from Sean Porter, he went to his backyard. And as we all know, the hardest thing is to go to another man's backyard and take the title of him because it has
How many times has Amir Khan hasn't fought in the UK for how long? He's been abroad for how long? Knocking out all those Americans, all the Mexicans and everything like that.
Hold on. But he's beating these people and it's not even their country. When he beat Maidana, that wasn't in Argentina. That was in America.
Yeah, but it's still not his country either.
So exactly.
That means it's a neutral ground.
Exactly. So what are you talking about?
Huh?
He didn't go to a man's backyard.
It doesn't matter. He's still not at home. He's still not in the comforts of his own home. You lot are really clinging.
You made that argument, not me. You made the argument he went to people's backyards. Yeah, you made the argument, not me. I'm saying, okay, when he fought Kotelnik, where did he fight Kotelnik? Was it in America?
Let me actually correct you. You made the argument. You're the one that said that. Oh, when Kell Brook went to Sean Porter, she went to Sean Porter's backyard and took the title from him, which is really hard to do. Okay, that's exactly what you said. You understand?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You made that argument.
You can't say. Then don't use the argument of Madonna.
I don't even rate Sean Porter as a fighter anyway. Sean Porter's just an aggressive. He's not even a good technical boxer. He's just
okay. Wait.
Do you know what I mean?
Tell me the places when he fought Kotelnik. Where did he beat Kotelnik? Was it in?
I'll tell you something. It was in 2009. The best win on Kell Brook's record is Sean Porter still to this day.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read off some more for you? Devon Alexander, Slick a southpaw. Luis Collazo, you all know about him. Carlos Molina, Zab Judah, Marcos Maidana. What do you want me to carry on? Kotelnik, Marcos Antonio Barrera, a Hall of Famer. What else do you want to say?
Names. I thought you were saying new names. Okay, when he fought these guys, was it in their countries or was it all in America?
Oh my God.
I'm just asking.
A combination of UK and America, looking at BoxRec. Yeah,
there we go. It's not like he went to a man's backyard and beat them in their backyard. He went and he fought them in a neutral ground or in his own country.
Look at the opposition. Look at the opposition, though. Who has Kell Brook fought? That's what I'm asking you. You know that their boxing record is incomparable. So obviously, when you fought the level of opposition that Khan has fought, obviously he's going to have some slip-ups along the way with the level of opposition he's fought. I'm telling you straight up and down, if Kell Brook fought Danny Garcia, he'll get demolished. Will get completely annihilated.
No, I'm not having that.
I think Kell Brook would beat Danny Garcia. But what I would say, Ayo, I know I can hear how passionate you're getting because
he loves this. He's an Amir Khan fanboy. That's the fanboy there. You get me?
Do you know what it is? Yeah, normally me and Ayo agree on pretty much like I would say 90% of boxing. But you know what I feel about Amir Khan, and
I know. That's the one thing we don't agree on. But
yeah, that's the one thing we don't agree on. And honestly, like, do you know what? You've actually made some good points because I think because of the knockouts that Khan has kind of suffered, we kind of get blinded by the fact that he's actually had some good wins. And you were reading off the names, the Barreras, Kotelnik, Salitas, Malignaggi, Maidana, McCloskey, Judah. He's actually had some good wins. I'm not gonna lie, his resume is 10 times better than Kell Brook. He's fought at a higher level. He's been in with better opposition as well. But I just think, and I know the point you're trying to make off the ringside kind of back and forth they had, but I think if they fought tomorrow, or the version of Kell Brook who fought Errol Spence fights the version of Amir Khan that fought Alvarez or Algeria or Alexander, I just think Kell Brook's probably too strong, too cute. Yes, Khan will have success in that fight, but I just think the timing element, man. I mean, Khan showed he's got the chin of a 2-year-old, and I think if Brook hits him, because Brook's got some decent power, and he's got enough power to keep world level fighters honest. And I think if Brook hits him, mate, he's going to bed. But I get your points, Ayon. You made some great points, but just in the interest of time, probably best we move on to our final topic of tonight. Now, obviously, into 2018, 2017 was an absolutely incredible year of boxing. So I just wanted to shine some light on it and give the guys a chance to highlight their fighters and their fights of the year, just to show, how they kind of saw the year and what kind of stood out for them. So, Idris, I don't know if you want to kick things off. The first kind of award that I wanted to hear from you is, or just cover off all of them actually. So, your fighter of the year, that's including Brit, World, everything. Your fight of the year, and your prospect of the year for 2018.
Prospect of the year 2018.
That one's a bit tricky. So if you want to focus on the two, that's fine. Prospects of the year is a bit tricky.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my fighter of the year, and I'm gonna go with Errol Spence.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I'm gonna go with Errol Spence because man down, baby. I just love, I love everything about Errol Spence and the way he carries himself. Like I said, I don't think he's the best boxer in the division. I'll go with more like, your Thurmans and things like that. And now even Terence Crawford's come up. I mean, Terence Crawford was definitely close. And even Lomachenko, do you know what I mean? The fact he finished Rigondeaux made him retire, and even though he might have had a hand injury, I mean, Lomachenko was definitely up there, and I was definitely questioning Lomachenko. But I just think, watching Errol Spence live, watching that fight and just seeing how he moves, seeing his aggression, his never give up, and he don't care. He don't care who you are. And a lot of fighters, they fight guys and they saying, "Oh, I'm not scared of no man," and blah blah. He genuinely does not care. Even when he had the interview with Keith Thurman, he said, "Look, I don't care what you have to say. Just sign the paper and let's fight. Like, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what you say. Let's just fight." And that attitude, I love it. I think he's a great fighter. I love the way he hits you with that body punch. If he hits you with that body punch, you're in trouble. It don't matter who you are. You're in trouble. And obviously, when you hear all the rumors, Mayweather even admitted it, that he got that work. He got the work from Errol Spence. And Errol Spence was so modest and so humble in the way he said, "Look, I was there to just do a job, and I just did the best I can do." And you can tell that there was a secret sort of, maybe stuff went on that we don't know about, and he really did give Mayweather that work. But for me, my fight of the year is Errol Spence, man.
Errol Spence. That's a good pick, man. And moving on to your, we'll probably come back to the prospects of the year right at the end. But moving on to your fight of the year, what was that?
I'm gonna go with Joshua Klitschko, man.
Oh wow! Okay.
That fight, because I watched that with a bunch of friends. Me and my girl were there, and I think maybe it was the whole atmosphere of the entire fight.
It was a big fight.
But yeah, because I think there was a lot of build up to it that whole week, and we're preparing to go make sure we're going to be watching that fight live and stuff like that. So I think for me, that fight as well, it was just epic. It had everything. You had gassing out. You had an older guy who was like on his last legs. You had a young, stud who's trying to prove himself. At the same time, you had both of them get knocked down in the middle rounds, and then it just came down to a brutal knockout in the end as well. And that's what you want from heavyweight fights, and that's why heavyweight division is always like the biggest, of all boxing fights. And for me, it was Joshua. Joshua Klitschko, man. That was my fight of the year.
So that's two good picks. I like those picks. So Errol Spence, fight of the year for you, 2017, and AJ versus Klitschko, fight of the year. Okay, two good picks. And we'll revisit prospect of the year. Maybe we rephrase that as fighter to watch, or your fighter you believe to watch in 2018. Okay, Mike, on to you, mate. Fighter of the year 2017 in your eyes.
First of all, Idris, I agree with all what you said. Spence, yeah, definitely, and for the fight, yeah. My one that was in my top three anyway. But I've gone for a fight of the year. I've gone for an unexpected one. I went for James DeGale versus Badu Jack.
Oh,
that's a good fight.
Okay.
That's my fight of the year. Reason being, I think that was just a brilliant fight. They both didn't like each other. They both had a lot to say. They both had a point to prove, and it went for a split, which was divided opinions. But I thought that fight had everything. So that's my fight of the year. Fighter of the year and prospect for the year, it kind of hit in one. I've gone for Gervonta Davis. I think he's had a brilliant year. Like, everyone knows who he is now, and his world championship fight that he won the belt to become world champion, he just pissed all over the guy, and the guy was quite rated. I can't remember the guy's name, but
Pedraza.
Yeah, Pedraza. Yeah, thank you. He battered him. He proper beat him up. And the reason why I've gone for him, because I'm an old school. Mike Tyson was my boy. I grew up with that boy. And Gervonta Davis just reminds me of a little mini Mike Tyson. He's explosive. He's just got a don't give a fuck attitude. And when he throws punches, like he throws them with bad intentions, and he's got the same fight philosophy as Tyson. He just fights you like you just stole something from him. And I think he's going to be one to watch for the future.
So you've gone. So your fight of the year is Gervonta Davis, and also the fighter to look out for 2018. And your fight of the year was Badou Jack versus DeGale, which was a great fight. Okay, cool. Now, solid picks. Ayo, on to you, mate. Fight of the year.
The fight of the year for me was Kovalev Ward 1.
Ooh. There's some good fights coming out of it, man.
That was my fight of the year. No, I was a toss up because you know what? I was even gonna pick what's his face? The guy. Was it name with Dylan White and
Zora. Oh wow, I forgot about that fight.
I was gonna pick that. But I just think what happened in the first fight with Ward getting put down and then coming back. That was such a good fight. That was such a good fight, to be honest with you, and it teed it up nicely for the second. Yeah, I'll put that, and I'll keep it short and sweet. I think the fighter of the year and the fighter to look out for me is Terence Crawford. And I honestly believe, and I might be controversial saying this, but I honestly believe it's out of him and Lomachenko, but I'll just pick him. I think he's the best technical boxer out there. Seriously, like you can't get near him, you can't touch him. He's got everything in the locker, and I can't wait until he moves up to 147 because I still believe the 147 division has the most talented boxers there, and when he enters that, it's just going to make it even worse. And I'll be honest with you, I think he's going to dominate it. That's all I've got to say for that.
Okay. So when we're saying prospect, are we talking? We're not talking young fighters. Then we're talking people who we could just talk anyone.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, then someone that I want to see Lomachenko fight is Mikey Garcia.
Okay.
I want to see him because I believe in him, and after what he done to Broner, I've got so much respect for him, and I'm very excited to see him. So that's mine for 2018.
Okay, wow. I guess it's on to me then. Yeah. So some great picks, man. So okay, so fight of the year, I went for Terence Crawford, and the reason being is the guy is just an amazing fighter. I don't think in our lifetime, obviously we've been lucky to see Floyd Mayweather. I feel he's an amazing fighter. I don't know if I'd call him the best ever, but I think he's just an amazing fighter. And I wouldn't compare Terence Crawford to Floyd Mayweather yet, but this guy has everything. He can fight on the front foot. He can fight on the back foot. He can mix it up. He can go southpaw. His footwork's good. He can fight at angles. He's got good power. He's got everything in his game. And I just think him stepping up to 147, the fight I'm praying can be made. I know Crawford's obviously top rank and Spence is PBC, but I'm hoping to see Crawford Spence. That would be an absolute amazing fight.
They have to fight.
Yeah, they have to fight for me. That, to me, that's number one and number two potentially in the division. I don't take anything away from Furman. I just think that those two are a level above Furman in terms of their boxing ability. But my fight of the year is Terence Crawford, purely because I think he's had a great year. He unified the belts. The only criticism that I would have of Terence Crawford is that if you look at his resume, the names that you see on there are not well recognized. So we don't know potentially how good he is, but I just, from the eye test and what I see, I think he's an amazing fighter. Shout outs from me to Errol Spence. Obviously, his name was mentioned. I think Anthony Joshua also had a good year as well. So shout out to Anthony Joshua and Lomachenko as well, who also had a good year. Just a note on Lomachenko. I know people are very high on Lomachenko. I feel like he's an incredible boxer, but I'm not as high on him as others, and it's just a personal preference for me. So just a shout out to those guys. Fight of the year. Now, Ayo, you mentioned Derek Chisora versus Dylan White. I actually forgot about that fight, but that was an amazing fight. I went with what you said, Mike. Badou Jack versus James DeGale. What that fight was.
Brilliant fight.
I'm just thinking back to it. That fight just was a war, man.
And he took the year off as well.
Yeah, like DeGale lost a tooth. Badou Jack got knocked down. What was it? First round? Knockdown. Jack came back, and they were going toe to toe. DeGale went down late. It was just that was a war. That was a proper fight. I remember watching that, thinking, "Wow, these guys they went to hell and back." And I know there was some controversy after the fight because I thought Badou Jack won the fight, but the draw, you can't take it away from those guys. They put everything on the line that night. Shout outs to Dylan White Chisora. That was a great fight as well. Kovalev Ward AO, as you said, that was a great fight. But yeah, for me, Badou Jack and DeGale was the standout for me. And then the fighter to watch for 2018. This is a tricky one. I would so not prospect for me, but I would probably say Terence Crawford again. Purely because he's stepping up to 147 now, and that's where the big dogs are, man. There's so many good fights to be made. He's already got a title fight coming up against Jeff Horn, the guy who beat Pacquiao. If he wins that title, already he's a champion at 147. And then there's some massive fights to be made. Crawford Furman, Crawford Spence, Spence Furman, Crawford Porter. I think he could have an amazing
Garcia, don't forget Garcia, man.
Yeah, Mikey Garcia potentially stepping up.
Danny Garcia.
Oh, Danny Garcia. Yeah, Danny Garcia as well. I think Danny Garcia came out with a quote the other day that he's not scared to fight. He's not scared to fight Crawford, he's not scared to fight Spence. So we should be seeing some great fights in 147, and I'm hoping by the end of 2018, early 2019, latest summer 2019, the standout welterweight should come out. And I think that person will probably be Terence Crawford, and that will make him an all-time great. So, yeah, fight of the year, Terence Crawford. Fighter to watch for 2018, Terence Crawford as well. Yeah, that was my picks. Before we end, I just wanted to open up to the panel. Was there anything else that you wanted to mention? Because obviously there's been a lot going on since we last came on. Is there anything else that's been missed out, or anything else that anyone wanted to cover?
I would say kind of like shock. I'll probably say Andre Ward's retirement. I wasn't expecting that.
True.
And honest with you, I was quite gutted to hear it because I thought he's just a world-class fighter, and I wanted to see I wouldn't mind seeing Collar Ruff and Ward Part 3. But yeah, that's my kind of like only gutted thing of boxing of 2017 was Andre Ward retiring.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one, really. I mean, but if you look at Ward's resume, man, and we've been talking about resumes a lot today, but if you look at Ward's resume, man, I mean, Froch, Kessler, Chad Dawson, Kovalev twice. Abraham, I think, is on there as well. He's been in with elite fighters, man. And I think Ward just got to a point in his career where he's like, what else do I have to prove? Some people don't like him because they think he's a dirty fighter. I think he's an all-time great. He's proved himself.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's definitely Hall of Famer. Skills can't be questioned. But yeah, that was kind of a surprise. Sorry, mate. Did you guys hear the announcement about Badou Jack facing Adonis Stevenson?
No.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he's got that fight, Ayo. He's got that fight, man.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, it got announced about a week ago. So yeah, Badou Jack's gonna face Stevenson for the WBC title, man.
Never knew that.
That's a big fight, man. I'm looking forward to that because Stevenson, like, I don't know what the guy's been doing. Like he was the man at obviously a light heavyweight, but he hasn't fought anybody. And obviously Andre Ward beat Kovalev twice in the time he's champion, and now Badou Jack. Obviously Badou Jack beat Cleverly. He let go of his belt, and now he's gone on to fight Stevenson. I mean, just early thoughts on that fight. Who would people pick for that fight, Jack or Stevenson?
I'll go with Badou Jack.
Yeah, I mean, he's been more active, isn't it?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, but Stevenson though, he's got power, man.
It'd be a good fight, but I think Badou would.
He'd probably knock him out.
I think.
If he hits Jack.
Yeah, if he hits Badou Jack, he'll clean his clock.
Yeah, Jack's been stopped before as well. Obviously, early in his career, it was a flash knockdown, but Jack has been stopped before. But one thing I would say about Badou Jack, and he was nearly my fight of the year as well. I didn't mention that. He's improved so much to the point where I thought, is he on the stuff? But yeah, he had a great year last year, and like he's improved so much, man. Like a lot of people used to say he was a basic fighter, and if you look at him now, like he's come on leaps and bounds. Like he just does everything well. He's one of those fighters. He's not like spectacular or anything like that, but he's just solid. Yeah, he's just solid. He does everything well. So yeah, shout out to Badou Jack. So we had the Andre Ward retirement. Was there anything else anyone wanted to cover before we end?
Not that I can think of.
No.
I think we pretty much covered it. Oh, one obviously mention before we go. Did anyone catch the Saunders Lemieux fight?
Yeah. It was a very good fight.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that as well?
Yeah. Boxing masterclass.
Yeah, that was a masterclass. And
defensive boxing masterclass.
Wow, do you know what? Maybe we'll have to talk about this in another podcast. But Billy Joe Saunders, for me, obviously he's gone over to the Ingle gym, Kell Brook's gym, but I think that style suits him of fighting, that Ingle style. And the performance he delivered against David Lemieux, and I tweeted at the time, and it got picked up by MTK Global, his management company. So I was quite chuffed with that. But I thought he put a better schooling on Lemieux than Golovkin did. I know Golovkin knocked out Lemieux, but if you watch a Golovkin fight versus Lemieux and you watch how Billy Joe Saunders schooled him, to me, I think Billy Joe Saunders done a better job. And apparently the Canelo Triple G fight is days away from being announced. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I heard yesterday it was confirmed. I heard it was confirmed.
So I saw it in the paper. I saw it in the paper, but I don't know. Like, I'm still like, I didn't see anything on Golden Boy, so I'm not 100% sure. But if it has been confirmed, it has. Like, obviously, credit to them for getting that fight made. But honestly, when I was watching that Billy Joe Saunders fight, I was sitting there thinking, because we were talking, we've debated the Canelo Triple G fight, Idris, and on that occasion you were on my side, Idris. But when I was watching that Billy Joe Saunders fight, I was sitting there thinking, this version of Billy Joe gives Golovkin all sorts of problems. I don't know if anyone else thought that, or it was just me sitting there like. But I just thought that version of Billy Joe, slick, defensively aware, footwork on point, jab was like he had everything, punch variation. He wasn't sitting on the ropes too much. For me, that version of Billy Joe, definitely gives Triple G problems. I don't know if I was alone in that, but just wanted to throw that out there, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it done. So I think we've had a good show. I know there's only been 4 of us on the panel, but yeah, I think we had a pretty good show. Obviously, it got a bit heated on the Eubank Junior chat, but yeah, I'll be sending my sort code and account number, Mike and Idris, short. Obviously, prepare the readies. And yeah,
bro, you can talk all you want here, but I'm gonna give you a list. All I expect you to just buy the stuff on the list. And then but yeah, are we putting up the money yet? Are you keeping it for 50?
No, I'm gonna think about it. But do you know what? When you said a list, I actually thought about out of the money that you guys are gonna pay me, do I get you to like buy a Team Groves t-shirt out of it or something, or do I just want the cold hard cash? I don't know.
I'm just putting it out there now. I've already booked the table with your money, so if you want to add like a little few tips, like a bottle of Chamberlain as well for some extra cash. But
Guys, all I'm saying,
I'm down with it. I'm just thinking of it as easy a free night out, man, on your expense, bro. So
all I'm saying on that Eubank Junior fight, guys, look, how far we're away? Like we're a month, 17th of Feb. Please, guys, just sober up. please go and watch the fights.
I'm waiting for Graves.
Go and watch the fights. I don't want to take your. The thing is, I don't want to take your money. I know I don't.
I want to take yours. Like, you know, I want to take yours.
I know you do, Idris, but please go and sober up, guys. I know you guys, you know boxing, and I feel like you've been watching a few too many Chris Eubank Jr. Instagram videos, as AO put in the group.
That's
what please go and watch the fight.
That's another pod before the fight.
Exactly.
Look at all those punches.
Yeah, exactly, AO, exactly. So thank you for posting that in our WhatsApp group. But please go and watch the fights. And if you guys change your mind, it's not too late to just say, look, I was silly. I got it wrong.
Just one thing before we go. Have we got a pod before the fight actually happens?
No, but you know what? We'll make one happen. We should do one. I think we should do a pod.
I'm just trying to pick the right tune to play on it. Like I can play the.
I'm thinking we should try to do one on
that Saturday.
That Saturday, like after the wave.
Yeah, I can play the End Is Near for George Groves on.
No, do you know what? So the fight's the 17th. Yeah. What we should do is do a podcast right after that fight.
Oh no! Yeah, we should do a pre-season just to like read Groves' last rights.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. I think that's a good shout, Jason. Do a podcast.
We should do a special. Yeah,
right after we've had 2 podcasts where we've had long ass debates about this, so we need to have something while it's fresh.
We should do, and I think we should set up a video link to Mike and Idris's house. Put it on the computers when they make that payment into my account.
Listen. I'm going to be dining in the restaurant on the video, and I'm going to have your name, your number on speed dial, so I can just transfer the money from your bank to mine to pay for the meal.
Oh dear, no worries. Well, let's wrap it up. But no, it was a good show. A good show this week, and lots of banter. But for our next podcast, let's latch on to the back of that Groves Eubank Jr. fight.
Yeah, that's a great man.
Cool, guys. Well, guys,
man.
Please subscribe. Please like and share the content. We're out. Thanks, guys.
Nice one, guys. Laters. Bye-bye.
Bye.